give me some examples of reflective system, like what kind of questions, okay, would you have when you have to use reflective system. So try to come up with the questions when you have to use reflective system to digest, to elaborate, to analyze. Come on, anyone? Still remember what reflective system is? Well, when you look at the screen, yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so you just have to, when you are. Oh, okay. Uh, right. That's very good. Okay, yeah, maybe some maps questions. Okay, but definitely not like 1 + 1 is equal to 2. Okay, because yeah, when I say the question, then you have the answer in your mind. 2, that's 2, right? Okay, so basically, it becomes you're using automatic system for that math. Okay, all right. But when you're talking about some rather complicated maps questions, then yeah, possibly you are going to use reflective system to help you solve or to analyze the question. Okay, all right, and that's why, right? You see here, it has to be logical. Yeah, you have to control it. Okay, it takes longer time, right, to think about the question, in order to come up with the answer, and also yeah, all the other elements here. Okay, all right, yeah, cool. Okay, so well, what is this? Okay, so now let's go. Yeah, let's move on. Okay, yeah, let's move on. Okay, so very quick questions. Okay, so automatic or reflective thinking. Yeah, so choosing IB subjects. What do you think? Come on, automatic or reflective? Okay, reflective. Okay, all right, but could it possibly be automatic? Anyone? So reflective sounds very logical. Yeah, when you are choosing IB subjects, yeah, you need to think it through, right? Yeah, because you need to think about what kind of subject that I have to study in university, and that's why I'm choosing those options as my IB subjects, right? Because they will help me get into the subject that I want, in my further studies. But would someone use automatic thinking for a question like this? Come on, is an open-ended question. So right? Yeah, Maisie. Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah. So Uh, well, I wouldn't use the word like smart or dumb to describe when people they are using automatic or reflective thinking for a question like this. But when I would rather say, look, when people they cannot see a bigger picture, okay, when people they are lack of vision, then they might use the wrong way of thinking when they are trying to solve a problem, they're trying to make a decision. Okay, so basically what we are learning here, it goes to consumers as well, because right now we are in economics, and we want to focus on consumers, or we want to focus on producers, because they are all humans. Okay, all right. So yeah, this is why we have to learn this. Okay, you can just put yourself in the consumer point of view when you cannot really see the bigger picture when you're buying something. Then at the end, you might buy something that you will regret. Okay, all right. So here, yeah, okay. Choosing IB subjects. Look. Some people they use automatic. Some people they use reflective thinking. Okay, right. Yeah. So what about this? What about this? How can you? So now you know. Look, it can be right both. Okay, or either automatic or reflective thinking. But how do you explain it? How do you explain it? Yeah, whether I should go to sleep or whether I should finish the assignment. If you have to apply the both thinking systems into this question, how? Can you just quickly explain it? Like when is it going to be automatic? And when is it going to be reflective? So come on, try it out. Anyone? Hello? Well, if there's no anyone, then I guess I'm just gonna ask people. Uh, okay, I'm just gonna start it from the very top, I guess. Uh, Byron. Oh, Byron. Hi, Byron. Hello. Oh, hi. So how are you going to explain the second question here? If you have to apply on both automatic and reflective thinking. Yeah, because based on the first question, we know, some people, it really depends on people. But how do we explain when people they will use reflective thinking and when people they will use automatic thinking on a question like this? Okay, automatic thinking is more natural. Okay, yeah, because oh, okay, yeah, but I really want you to try applying, the theories into the question. Yeah, the question, like when you are choosing, in between, okay, going to bed and finishing the assignment. Okay. So I guess Byron, you are you are a good student, okay? Because you would take it slow, and yeah, think about what is going to happen tomorrow if I don't finish my assignment and everything, okay? So you see here, guys, yeah, it takes some logical thinking here, okay? But for some people, it's going to be very automatic, okay, right? When they see, the choices between going to bed and finishing the homework, okay, look, yeah, I guess I'm just going back, just going to sleep, okay, all right. So there you go, all right, yeah, and yeah, even when you are talking about like speaking in your second language, okay, yeah, for some people, all right, maybe you guys, right, you guys speak perfect English, I believe, okay, and so that's why when you are even speaking in your second language, you are going to use automatic thinking system, okay, because everything is in your mind, okay. You don't really need to digest, yeah, just like when you're using Cantonese, you don't need to think, okay, yeah, right, whatever you have in your mind, then you can say it immediately, okay, right. But for some people, maybe for me, all right, when I'm trying to speak English, look, I need to think, okay, yeah, it takes time for me to think because it's my second language, and this is not what I'm good at, okay? And yeah, you see, okay? So you know what I mean, okay? Right here, okay? So it really depends on the people, okay? Yeah, right. Even for the choice of breakfast, okay? Some of you, yeah, you might, have a very quick decision making for every morning, okay? When it comes to your breakfast. Okay, it's going to be cereal. Yeah, it's going to be a loaf of bread. Yeah, things like that. Okay, but for some people, they can be very picky. Okay, they really want to think about like what I should have for my breakfast. Yeah, maybe maybe have some scrambled eggs. Okay, some fruit. Okay, but what kind of fruits? Right? Okay, you know what I mean. All right? Okay, or even your future. Okay, some people they just cannot see the bigger picture. Okay, they're just thinking about today. Okay, right. So tomorrow, okay, when it comes to tomorrow, then I'll make the decision. Okay, right. But some other people they really think about the future and they prepare. Okay, so they're actually using reflective thinking. Okay, so I would say right. It's really up to people to decide. Okay, when it comes to different questions, they are using automatic or reflective thinking. Okay, and that's why some people, they may make the wrong decision because of, using the wrong way of thinking. Okay, all right, yep. So so that's why we need to know, okay, like how we think in order to see why some consumers they act not rationally. Okay, all right. So this is the point. Okay, this is the point of learning. How people think. Okay, right. So let's make a quick recap, shall we? Okay. So I guess I'm just gonna ask some people, right? So for the first one, Charlene, can you tell me? Like you just use your own words. You don't have to go back to the slides. Okay, all right. So what is behavioral economics? Charlene, are you here? Hello. Yeah. Can you just quickly define like what that is in your own words? You don't really have to use the things in the slides. Okay. Like what is it? So what yeah, so now we know we are talking about this behavioral economics, but what is exactly behavioral economics? What we are trying to look at. So it's still economics, but what kind of economics this is? Well, that's more like general. Okay, that's more like a general definition of economics. But when it comes to behavioral, like what is it? So try to make it more specific. So what are we trying to look at when we are studying people's decision making in the economy? What yeah, what is that thing? Okay, yeah, psychology, right? Okay, yeah, there you go. Okay, so we are looking at something very small. We are looking at people's mind in behavioral economics. Okay, so it's even smaller than microeconomics. Okay, if you still remember microeconomics, we are talking about individuals. Okay, but here we are talking about individuals' minds. Okay, all right, so that's why they're so small. Okay, we're trying to study something even smaller in this area here. Okay, all right, so you will see there will be a lot of psychology going on. All right, so for the second question, okay, so far, what factors limit the assumption of rational consumer choice? Okay, well, so Gordon, can you just give me one? So Gordon, so just give me one factor that limits the assumption of rational thinking so far that we have learned. Okay, perfect information. We don't have it. Okay, we don't have it. Yeah, right. And that's why, look, there's no way that we can act rationally. Okay, Isaac, can you give me one more? Hello. Oh, hi. So Gordon talked about imperfect information. So what else have we learned that we know? Okay, this assumption may be not very realistic. Can you explain it a little bit? So what is a bounded rationality? As when we look at the when we look at the term, we know is limited rationality, but how do you explain it? Well, that's another one. Yeah, that's another one. Okay, that's when you talk about self-control. Well, it's okay, Isaac. Yeah, yeah. Well, I get well, or anyone who can help Isaac here. Like, how do you explain it? How do you explain bounded rationality? Like very quickly. Yeah, yeah. Try to briefly explain it. So why do we have like limited rationality? So based on it's all based on something. Time and emotion. Well, that could be true. Yeah, that could be true. Okay. Yeah. Time and emotion. That could be part of it. Okay, that could be part of it. But yeah, yeah. So that's a good attempt, I would say. Yeah. So Kieran, yeah, that's very good. And but more importantly, we don't have perfect information. So every time when we're trying to analyze on some matters, okay, we are using what we call data, okay, or here when you talk about information, all right, to analyze, okay. But when we cannot get the accurate information, then we are not able to act rationally. Okay, because maybe we received the wrong information, or maybe we receive not enough information, okay, right, to come up with the best answer. So that's why we have bounded rationality. Okay, all right, there you go. Yeah, and when Isaac was talking about control, people control themselves. We also talk about self-control. Okay, right? We don't always have complete self-control. Okay, and also based on the emotions that we have. Okay, and maybe yeah some biases that we have. Okay, so self-control highly unlikely. Okay. There's one last thing that we have learned, that we know we might not be that rational. What is that factor? So now we talk about bounded rationality. We talk about imperfect information. We talk about uh, uh, like bounded self-control. There's one more factor that we went through. So we know that we are not that rational. What is it? Yeah, solving complex problems quickly. Okay, yeah, that's how we show ourselves. As humans, we cannot do it. Okay, yeah. So that when you want to show the comparison between econs and humans. Yeah, that's a very good point. But when we get back to the factors, okay, we would love to use the factors directly. So I wouldn't say this one is wrong, okay? Yeah, because IB is very flexible. Okay, so but I'm trying to get you guys to think it like more directly. Okay, so we're just trying to focus on the factors that we talk about here. Okay, right now. Okay, but yeah, that is also true. That is also true. Okay, so that factor is talking about when you are being considerate. Okay, if you are being considerate, yeah, what's the term? Do you have it? Talking about self-interest. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if you still remember the example that I talk about. Yeah, if you have done something selfless, recently, okay, and that one is also an example. Okay, all right. So when you talk about selfishness, okay, we don't see people they are all selfish, okay, because when we are talking about econs, we know that they act logically. Okay, they will only maximize their own benefits, right? But when we look at real humans, they not everyone they will do the same. Okay, right? They might think about other people. Okay, they might consider other things around them. Okay, and that's why look they all have bounded selfishness. Okay, here. All right. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So make sure you have those factors in your head. So when you are trying to answer the questions, yeah, you can use all the factors directly. Okay. But of course, when you're trying to use the characteristics from econs and humans, they are also they are also correct. Okay. But I would go for the factors first, and then I would go for some of the unspoken characteristics from the factors. Okay, all right, yep. So this is the flow that you should have when you are writing the essay. Okay, in your IB economics. Okay, you always focus on the most direct factors, and then you talk about some some side topics or something related. Okay, yeah, but not very direct. Okay, all right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. What about the third one? So automatic thinking. Automatic thinking, and yeah, let's go for Karen. Okay, Karen, can you just quickly answer this? Like, what is automatic thinking? Hi. So what is it? Where we talk about automatic thinking. Yeah, impulsive. Yeah, well, there you go. It's going to be quick, impulsive, right? Uncontrolled. Okay, something very quick. Okay, yeah, you're not even gonna think about it. You just do it. You just say it. Okay, right? Yeah, that's very quick. Okay. Yeah. What about Katrina? You have answered a lot, so I guess I'm just gonna skip this. Yeah. Well, Kieran, yeah, you answer once as well. Okay, I think I'm gonna go for Lily. Okay, Lily, can you just quickly tell me what reflective thinking is? Yes. What is reflective thinking? Hello. Okay, like okay, logical. Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, is okay. So I see here, right? It's going to be more complicated, okay, more sophisticated, right? When you use reflective thinking, because yeah, it takes time to analyze on something, okay, yeah. So yeah, okay. So what that is, okay? Reflective thinking when you are trying to process something more complex. Okay, then you use reflective thinking. Okay, all right, yeah. So this is just a recap. Okay, yeah. Just from time to time, just go back to what you have learned, because there are going to be so much contents. So yeah. Just go back to what you have learned and try to have a quick revision. They will help you. Okay, all right, yeah. Okay, all right. So let's move on. Okay, yeah. So we are still talking about automatic and reflective thinking. So what do you think? How do econs think? Are they going to use automatic, or are they going to use reflective, or are they going to use both? Or do you have something different in your answer? So when we talk about Homo economicus, yeah, we know the characteristics of Homo economicus, but how do they think? If we have, their characteristics listed out, so how do they think? Anyone? Hello? I mean, it's okay. Yeah, you just have to try it out. So based on the characteristics that they have, more reflective. Okay, okay. Uh, well, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Right? Because Homo economicus, they act rationally. Okay, but how would you further explain it? They're using reflective thinking in some condition. So we know about reflective thinking. Okay, we know what that is. Okay, we know the nature of reflective thinking, and we also know the characteristics of Homo economicus. Okay, and based on the two knowledge, we know that economicus, very possible they are going to use reflective thinking. Okay, because they act rationally. But how are you going to explain it even further? Do they only use reflective thinking, or would they use reflective thinking in a certain way? I mean, you can think about reflective thinking. Is it going to take long, or is it going to take short? Is it going to take a long time to digest something, or is it going to take a short time to right? Okay, but what about the characteristics we have for economicus, like Homo economicus, when they are trying to be logical, when they're trying to solve complex problems? They will use reflective thinking, but but now we are trying to talk about Homo economicus. Okay, so when we go back to the characteristics here. Okay, so take a look at this. Right, they all act rationally. Okay, so they really think it through before they make a decision. Okay, but here's the thing: they are able to solve complex problems quickly. Okay, yeah, they can solve complex problems quickly. And we know that when we are using reflective thinking, it takes time because they are so complicated. That's what normal human beings they would do. When they are solving something complicated, it takes time. Okay? But for econs, they don't need it. Okay? Because we assume, look, if you are one of them, then yeah, if you're trying to solve a complex problem, you can solve it very quickly. Okay? And that's why, look, from the beginning to now, we are always defying the existence of this kind of person right here, because they cannot be exist. Okay, they cannot be existed. Okay, all right, yeah. So there you go. All right, and because of that, look, I would say, just give me a second. Yeah. So I would say, look, they use reflective thinking. That's for sure. Okay. But they would process, the solutions much faster. That's the difference. Okay, when you talk about Homo economicus. Okay, yep, and that's why we don't believe they exist. So if they don't even exist, why we should use that assumption? Okay, all right, yeah, we're just going back to the very beginning, based on what we have learned so far. Okay, all right, yep. So, well, yeah. So here, let's take a look of this video here. Yeah, let's take a look of this video here. Okay. So yeah, span a few minutes and take a look of this.
The Marshmallow Test is a really great way to show how children delay gratification. We tried it out with the 4 children we've been following since September 2010, Alfie, Millie, Mackay, and Pratmesh. Here's how it works. We had each child on their own sit at the table at a desk with a plate and 1 marshmallow. They could either choose to eat the marshmallow, the 1 marshmallow right then and there, or they could wait until I came back into the room and have 2 marshmallows. I left them alone in the room for 15 minutes. Take a look. The marshmallow test has been used for decades by psychologists. It's been used with children to predict later academic success, including literacy, SAT scores, and other academic outcomes. There's no definitive answers from the marshmallow test. It's not a matter of passing or failing. What we're looking for is whether children can really resist this piece of white candy sitting in front of them that's sweet, that, the smell of it, the allure of the marshmallow. In Pratmesh's case, we really saw this added curiosity because he had never actually tasted a marshmallow before. All of the children managed to show some level of self-control and resist the temptation to eat the whole marshmallow. As you can see from the footage, you can catch a glimpse into children's ability to control their impulses. This ability, which is developed around the time of kindergarten, can be linked to other outcomes later in life. At the end, the marshmallows were in kind of different states. Some had been squished, ripped apart, nibbled around. There was this temptation and there was this impulse to kind of try it out.
Okay, so you finished watching the video? Yeah? Right. So have you guys ever tried this test here? Or have you guys ever heard about the marshmallow, the marshmallow test? You guys tried it before? No? Well, some said, okay, this test here is even more objective than the IQ test that you would do when you are at a certain age. Yeah. Yeah, that's very interesting. That's one very interesting test. And so if you have to use the marshmallow test to explain automatic and reflective thinking, how are you going to explain it? Hello? What do I have to ask for names again? God. Okay, then, Marco, can you explain it? Hello? Are you here? Yeah, the question is, how do you explain the marshmallow test if you use what you have learned, okay, about automatic and reflective thinking? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very good. Yep. I guess it is the opposite for reflective thinking then. Yep. So yeah. So that's very good answer right there. Okay. So when you talk about a marshmallow test, okay, the kids, they all have to decide what kind of thinking that they should use, okay? Because when you are so tempted to eat the marshmallow right now, then you are giving up the opportunity to get one more marshmallow, okay, right? And when they can only see the short-term benefits, they're not able to make the right decision. So they're not able to make the best decision. So that's the problem. Okay, right? And here, this marshmallow test really shows you, you know, yeah, for different people, they have different thinking when it comes to one, same scenario. Okay, all right, yeah. So yeah, we sometimes we need to think about the long-term effects. Okay, we cannot just think about the short-term benefits. Okay, all right, yeah, right, yeah. So there you go, and same goes to so many customers, consumers. Okay, when they just think about the short-term effects, okay, they cannot realize the long-term effects to them. Okay, I'm pretty sure that there are so many product examples that you can use to explain this. Okay, like cigarettes. Okay, right? Yeah, think about this. Uh-huh. So now, okay, look. Yeah, so just for fun, yeah. So let's take a look of another one right here.
The famous Stanford marshmallow experiment tests children's self-control.
You have a choice. You can eat it now, totally cool, or if you can wait till I get back, I'll give you a second marshmallow.
I can do it.
You can wait 10 minutes? Okay. Oh, by the way,
If you want, you can use that cup to cover it up so you don't have to look at it. Good luck.
Okay.
Researchers showed that by putting a marshmallow in front of a kid and daring him not to eat it, you could tell if one day they'd be the next Steve Jobs or the next Steve Gutenberg. Now, in the original experiment, they just waited to see what happened, but I don't have the patience for that.
All right. Oh, you ate it. That's okay.
I didn't eat it. I missed the cup and it was gone.
How'd you do?
Good.
Was it good?
Yeah. After I slipped the cup, it just disappeared.
What disappeared?
The marshmallow.
Would you like another one?
Yeah, it just disappeared.
Oh, buddy, here. You want to eat this one? It's okay. Here, eat this one. You can eat this one. It disappeared like magic?
Yeah.
Well, eat this one. Tell me how it tastes.
Good.
Is it good?
Well, we made a kid cry, so I'd say phase 1 was a success.
Okay. Yeah, so basically, that is just a magic show. Okay? But, it really fits in the real society when you see so many things going on, when logic doesn't work. Okay? You're trying to be logical, you're trying to wait for that 10 minutes. But, when you cover that marshmallow with the cup, then, the marshmallow disappear. And, when the person, he comes back and he believed that, you ate the marshmallow. Yeah, but that video is just for fun, okay? Yeah, right. But inside, this video, you can think about a lot of things, okay? Right? Okay, so let's move on. Yeah. So so after all that, okay. So we kind of know reflective thinking. That's the way to go. Right? Yeah? That's the way to go. So if we know that, then we just have to use reflective thinking for everything. Okay? In order to make the best choice. Right? But do you see any problems in here? So, if we are using reflective thinking for all the questions that we have in life, what could be the possible problems? Hello, hi. Well, that's very true. Okay, yeah, you might have like anxiety. Okay, and if it takes too long to decide, and the opportunity cost, right, or the opportunity might be gone by then. Yeah. Okay, so thank you, Karen, and also Tom. Okay, yeah, because I guess you guys realized, look, this is just taking too long. Okay, when people, I just have to wait people for answering the question, and there's no one in the chat. Okay, so thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, I really hope you guys can, when see the questions, you can just go for it. Okay, it doesn't really matter if they're right or wrong. Okay, I only need your opinions or ideas. Okay, all right, just be more active. Okay, I know it's a tough time, right? Staying at home for so many months. Okay, and very soon you're going back to school. But let's play around. Let's play along with this this game. Okay, right here we have. Okay, all right, yeah, right. This is what I have to say about it. Okay, but yeah. So it takes too long. Okay, if we have to use reflective thinking for everything, it would just take too long. Okay, and it's not effective at all. It's not efficient. Okay, not effective. Okay, all right. At the end of the day, you might not be able to achieve one single thing. Okay, because of that. All right. Yep. And that's why we have to learn another concept. Okay, and we call that heuristics. Have you guys heard about this term? Heuristics? Anyone? No? No? No. Okay, all right. So let's take a look of it. Okay, let's watch that video. Okay, right here. Yeah. Okay. So take a look at it.
買樓租樓睇 square foot， 港九新界樓盤一應俱全，用埋地鐵站同校網分類搜尋功能。
Every day you make decisions and judgments. Sometimes you're able to think about them carefully, but other times you make them on the fly using little information. This is where heuristics come in. Heuristics are straightforward rules of thumb that we develop based on our past experiences. They're cognitive tools that help us make quick decisions or judgments. Life would be exhausting if we had to deliberate over every one of the hundreds of choices we make every day. So instead, we use our heuristics as shortcuts to make judgments about the world around us. For example, rather than spending time deciding what to wear every day, you might have some default outfits. Or when faced with a lunch menu with too many options, you may opt for what you've enjoyed in the past. Heuristics aren't about making the perfect decision or judgment, just about making one quickly. Heuristics play a role in our reasoning about the broader world, too. As an example, consider the rate of violence in the world over the past century. Is the world more or less violent in the past 20 years than previously? Heuristic reasoning might lead us to think that the world is more violent today than it has been in the past. Every day, we're confronted with images of tragedy in the news and on social media. We might reasonably assume that the world is more violent today than ever before using what's called an availability heuristic. That is, examples of violence that are so readily available, we just naturally assume the world is more violent today. But in fact, the world is more peaceful today than ever before in human history. We may hear a lot about violent events, but in terms of raw numbers, fewer people die today at the hands of other human beings than ever before. So that heuristic about how violent the world is incorrect. In fact, a slew of other heuristics can easily lead us to mistaken conclusions. And it doesn't matter how smart or well-educated you are. Anyone can place too much trust in the mental shortcuts they use to make sense of the world. Take this example. Let's say a person tests positive for a rare disease, one that only 1 in 1,000 people have. What is the likelihood that he actually has the disease? Most of us would say the likelihood is very high based on the test results alone. But what if the results were inaccurate 10% of the time? If the false positive rate is 10%, a common number in medical tests, then it is highly unlikely our patient has the disease. In fact, based on the prevalence of the disease and the test result, we can be 99% sure he doesn't have the disease. This is because the odds of getting a false positive result, 1 in 10, are much higher than the odds of actually having the disease, 1 in 1,000. But in multiple studies, physicians routinely get this wrong, overestimating the likelihood that their patient actually has the disease. Psychologists call this the representativeness heuristic. People assume an individual case is more representative than it actually is. Our political views can especially suffer from an over-reliance on heuristics. Just consider how we deal with political issues. We'll often let our political identities and our heuristics about how right we think they are stand in lieu of important details and information we need to have an informed viewpoint. Because our heuristics can so easily lead us to faulty conclusions, it's important to be humble about our views. In light of our fallibility, we have to do something that doesn't come easy. We must recognize that the world is an uncertain place, and that our judgments about it are often wrong. We ought to listen to opinions we may initially consider wrong or even offensive. Our intuitions are useful, even necessary when it comes to making quick judgments about the world. But that doesn't mean they're correct. Recognizing the flawed nature of your thinking is a bold first step to challenging it.
Okay, I think you have finished watching the video. Well,
Basically,
another
that means
advertisement.
this is me, this is
God.
Jane.
Okay, right. So, can someone explain it very quickly? Like, what is it? What is heuristics? Oh, okay, all right, okay, yeah, that's a very good idea, right? You know, maybe you can use past experience to help you make quicker decisions. What else can you talk about? You know, heuristics. You know, any other people when it comes to heuristics? Yep, it helps with problem solving. Yep, very true. Okay, because of the question that we had above. Okay, when we are using just all reflective thinking, that will be too exhausting. Okay, and that's why look, we need to find ourselves some shortcuts, and basically heuristics. Okay, they are shortcuts. Okay, so you see here, you can say is a rule of thumb. Okay, because there are too many decision makings that have to be made every day, and that's why we have this very simple rule. Okay, we just use, you know, a shortcut in our mind to decide on so many things. Okay, like what I'm going to wear today, yeah, what I'm gonna eat today, okay, yeah, what I'm gonna do, you know, after dinner today. Okay, yeah. So you see here, yeah, so that is the concept. Okay, that's the concept. And you know, from there, when you watch the video, you know that if we are using heuristics, it will give us very quick solutions. But the solutions, they might not be 100% correct. Okay, because there are some biases when we are using this kind of mental shortcut. Okay, when we're using this kind of mental shortcuts, there are biases, and at the end, once again, we might make the wrong choices. Okay, when we are using heuristics for our consumption behavior. Okay, so yeah, so there you go. All right, and next week we are going to talk about heuristics in detail. Okay, all right. Yeah, and yeah, that's all for the lesson today. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna let you go to the next lesson. Okay, all right, yeah, bye guys. Okay, make sure you know, yeah, you do a little bit of revision. Okay, all right, so yeah, thank you very much. Okay, bye guys, bye. Bye.